This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live and save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
An arbitration panel, the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, lets South Korea off the hook.
Annulment of its own previous decisions are rare, but the ICSID did rule in favor of the South Korean government, in this case, against the global private equity firm Lone Star by annulling a 2022 ruling that was partially in Lone Star's favor. In a dispute that dragged on for 13 years, Lone Star had claimed that South Korean regulators held up its sale of the Korea Exchange Bank for political reasons, causing it to lose value. Bob Agner reporting.
One of the 25 schoolgirls abducted from a dorm in northwestern Nigeria has escaped and returned home. Gunmen attacked the government girls' comprehensive secondary school before dawn on Monday. A staffer was killed during the abduction. The school principal says a student who escaped fled through the wilderness and arrived home late Monday. News and analysis at townhall.com. Looking to boost the bottom line, a supermarket chain is closing several automated fulfillment centers.
Kroger is shutting down facilities in Wisconsin, Maryland, and Florida in January. Kroger had partnered with British online grocer Ocado in 2018 to build warehouses where robots would pick and pack grocery delivery orders. But Kroger now says for many orders, it's faster and cheaper to fulfill them in stores. Kroger is also expanding partnerships with delivery companies, including DoorDash and Uber Eats. Jason Walker reporting.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky plans to visit Turkey this week, hoping to revive talks on ending Russia's war in Ukraine, which began almost 4 years ago. It remains unclear if U.S. representatives will attend, but Russia says it will not be sending any representatives to the meeting. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning, everyone. Obviously, I am not Michael Patrick Leahy. You have got EJ Haast in the house today, filling in because Michael is on location in D.C., and he has some really special information for us, a neat interview we're going to talk about later. EJ Haast here. I am a frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, and we have a massive amount of news to get through today. Lots of things to talk about. Some of it you'll have heard, and we have a different take. Other stuff, maybe you haven't heard. Maybe it's kind of flying under the radar. I say that because you can find me on X at EJ Under the Radar. But before we get into everything else, like we do every day on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, let's get going with the morning rundown brought to you by the Glock Store. Number one, this will be the news that you hear about everywhere, all day, every day for the next couple of days. House and Senate move forward with the release of the so-called Epstein files. I have thoughts on this. It will now go to the president for signature. We have quite a bit of information. One person voted no. So obviously a pedophile, right? No, not necessarily. There's a pretty reasoned explanation as to why that you're going to want to hear. Number two, speaking of the president and his desk and signatures and such, there was a big state dinner last night at the White House. Would have been nicer in a ballroom, I think, but whatever. With the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Lots of controversy around that, you know, his past and those kinds of things, but he did significantly increase his nation's investments in the U.S. to the tune of $1 trillion. So while we're at home kind of complaining about domestic things, The president is still working on our behalf to secure lots of money from overseas and build relationships with other countries, doing that kind of international trade thing. So big news there. Number 3, Democrats have lost their minds again, it seems. Prominent Dems released a very strange video that sounds like they are calling for a military coup. We'll play that clip and discuss. I actually have a take on that you probably didn't hear on every news show last night and every radio show this morning. Hopefully we'll get you some information on that sounds a little different. Okay, number 4, Education Secretary Linda McMahon announces big changes to the Department of Education, winding down special spending and dismantling some sacred cows. So expect that the Democrats will lose their minds over that as well. Michael Patrick Leahy, number 5, on location, as they say, in D.C., with an interview coming up in just a moment. I will let him do all the intros for that. So he's not gone today. He's just in a different location. So he'll be calling in, and we'll make sure that you get your fix of the MPL show. Number 6, and finally, we have a special guest in the third hour that you don't want to miss, a very special treat. I will give you a hint. I am going to ask this guest about his exchange with a reporter yesterday. Oink, oink. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But there's your morning rundown, brought to you by The Glock Store. The Glock Store has been a sponsor of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show for years now, even before it was popular. And Michael has had the opportunity to create a really special relationship with the founder of the Glock Store, Leahy McGill. This year, Glock Store has set their sights on Black Friday, and it's an event you're going to want to try and attend for sure from wherever you are. The details are just now coming together, but if I had to guess, I'm thinking huge discounts on, well, everything, including Glocks and the latest and greatest in performance parts. And yes, knowing the Glock Store, there'll be more than a few great giveaways. This is something, pay attention to the Glock Store and glockstore.com over the holidays, and especially for Black Friday. Black Friday deals will also be available online, but the real party will be at the Glock Store right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Just a stone's throw away from the airport here at BNA. That's the Black Friday celebration from Leahy McGill and the one and only Glock Store. Minutes from the Nashville airport and worth the drive from anywhere, especially on Black Friday. So there you have it, the morning rundown for today, Wednesday, November the 19th in the year 2025. So we do have quite a lot to talk about today. Obviously, we are going to deep dive into the Epstein stuff because there's a lot of nuanced, stories, backstories behind the scenes. And are we looking at this the right way? I think that's probably the question that isn't being asked anywhere. We've got these rabid media types. We've got MAGA influencers. We've got Democrats who just want to be in front of the camera. We've got a little bit of everything. Everyone asking for, the Epstein files. What does that mean? What do they expect to get out of that? I really want to spend some time on that, so we won't dwell on it first right out the gate. Please stick with us on that. And then, what I'll do, because we do have a special guest, Michael Patrick Leahy, obviously on site in Washington, D.C. today, and he's got a special interview for you. And so I don't want to waste too much of our first spot here with the biggest news of the day. Instead, what I'm going to tell you is a couple of other things. So let's start, if we could, our great producer, Patrick. Linda McMahon yesterday. She's been all making the news for the last couple of days because she's announcing the breakdown, the tear down, basically, of the Department of Education. And while we're going to hear the left freak out and go bananas about it, I want you to hear it from her mouth, like what she is expecting to do with the Department of Education. And remember, this is what we voted for. When we voted for President Trump, we asked that the Department of Education, this was a tenet of the campaign, be dismantled, so to speak. that it needs to be maybe not entirely eliminated, because I don't think you'll ever get Congress to do that, but it needs a revamping for sure, and a massive reduction in force, in spending, all of it. Let's hear Education Secretary Linda McMahon and what she has to say about it.
The Democrats kept the government shut down for 43 days. Flights were delayed, SNAP benefits ran dry, small business and housing loans were frozen, but one major component of life for American families went virtually unaffected: education. The Federal Department of Education furloughed 90% of its staff. And what happened? Nothing. Schools stayed open. Students went to class. Teachers got paid. The shutdown proved our schools don't depend on Washington bureaucracy to function. If 90% of an agency supposedly governing education can disappear for weeks without disrupting education, do we really need it at all?
Great question. Do we need it at all? You know, I don't know who knows this, but prior to 1970, we didn't have a Department of Education at the federal level. And it seemed our kids were actually doing better. Reading scores were up. Math scores were up. We were definitely functioning. We were a manufacturing society. We were paving the way for all of the technology that is now happening in the United States, paving the way for all of the financial sector jobs in the United States. And so you have to ask, what has the Department of Education actually accomplished? And right out the gate, she says, you know, the government was shut down. The federal government was shut down for 43 days. And kids still went to school, did they not? Kids still got educated, so to speak. But what actually happened there? So I think she makes a good point. Maybe we'll dig in a little more to this later, but I am happy to see that they're going to move some things that are not supposed to be in the Department of Education into other departments. That'll be a huge step in the right direction, and reducing workforce and reducing spending. Who doesn't want that, right? Anyway, when we come back, yes, your dear leader, Michael Patrick Leahy, will be back with a very special interview. See you on the other side of the break.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up in 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
President Trump is rebuilding our economy, but we need every American in the fight. People leaving federal prison have a 60% unemployment rate, but a job is the #1 factor in preventing reoffense. The Safer Supervision Act is a pro-jobs bill. It helps people leaving prison on federal supervision rejoin our workforce to turn former prisoners into taxpayers. Strengthen our economy. Make America safer. Support the Safer Supervision Act. Visit safersupervision.com. This message paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours, true American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Well, the great E.J. Haas is broadcasting live from Nashville this morning. I am broadcasting from here in Washington, D.C. this morning. We're joined on our newsmaker line right now by a very good friend, a legal expert, professor of law at Liberty University, former Attorney General for the state of Kansas, Phil Klein. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning.
Phil, it's great to have you here. And of course, I'm here in Washington, D.C. today. We've got a National Journalism Award that we're up for later today. But I wanted to talk to you right now, Phil, about a couple of weird legal decisions. In the case brought against James Comey, it turns out the magistrate judge there has said, we need to give all of the grand jury testimony to the defense. Isn't that more than a bit unusual?
Well, it's extraordinarily unusual, and the odds are it will be modified by the district court judge. So if the magistrate has found compelling grounds that portions of the grand jury transcript and evidence should be provided to the defense, the district court will probably make a particularized finding of what needs to be released based on the concerns of the magistrate judge. So in other words, it's going to be modified or struck down is what I believe will happen. The magistrate did raise some issues that need to be looked at by the district court judge, which may result in compelling the government to turn over some of the materials. And they may work this out even before the district court makes the decision. I think the government presents today and the defense presents on Friday. I'm sure, or I would hope, there are some discussions to try to resolve those issues.
Tell us the difference between a magistrate judge and a federal district court judge, and why is the magistrate judge the one making this highly unusual decision to share grand jury information with the defense team for James Comey?
Well, the magistrate judge is handling the discovery and all the procedural details of the case as it develops to go to trial, which is very common. And the district court is the court that will hear and receive the evidence and impanel the jury for the actual trial. So, all of the investigative materials, subpoenas, the issuance of subpoenas, compliance with discovery orders, that's pretty much in the hands of the magistrate.
Okay. How many times in American history have defense attorneys successfully obtained grand jury transcript information?
I do not know.
It's rare, though, isn't it?
It is very rare. The grand jury is a very protected process, as is generally jury deliberations altogether, because it's almost impossible to reproduce for an appellate court all of the dynamics that go into the assessment of witness credibility and so forth. We do that in court with transcripts and so forth, but getting a higher court who was not there to hear the evidence, was not there to listen to the deliberation of jury discussions, cannot and fully understand all of the reasons that compelled the jury to a decision. And allowing an appellate court or a district court to step into the jury proceedings really defeats finality and defeats the jury process itself. So it's protected in many, many ways. States protect grand jury proceedings as well as the federal government. So it's a rare remedy. It's not unprecedented in the sense that it's never been allowed before, but it is very rare when that happens.
What does this tell us about the likelihood of the success of the prosecution of James Comey in this case?
Well, it's early to tell. Some of the concerns that the court referenced could be very problematic as it relates to this indictment. He claims that the United States attorney implied that Mr. Comey doesn't have a Fifth Amendment right not to testify at trial and that his testimony might fill in the gaps in some of the testimony. Now, this is, of course, based on what the judge has said and what people have extrapolated from it. Nobody has seen those transcripts right now in a public sense. The judge also indicated that the United States attorney implied that the grand jury does not need to solely rely on the evidence before it, but there will be better evidence at trial that'll be presented. That's if it went down that way, that is deeply concerning. I'm not certain that it did. Sometimes people misinterpret what's said. Grand jurors can use their common sense in assessing credibility just like anybody can. I don't know if there were comments related to that the magistrate has drawn inferences from, or if that was said. If it was said that you don't have to rely on what we're giving you, there'll be better evidence at trial, that's concerning. Now, I can understand context where this might make a difference. You could have a grand jury saying, well, I thought that our burden was beyond a reasonable doubt. Well, no, it's not to issue an indictment. It's a much lower burden. That type of discussion is proper to have, and maybe there's incorrect implications from that. We just don't know until we see the transcript and see what was said. Additionally, there was testimony by the lead agent in the case who apparently had been exposed to some privileged or potentially privileged material, communications between Mr. Comey and Mr. Richmond that were under attorney-client privilege. And DOJ policy is to wall off the taint. So in other words, if you've seen something that's privileged, you are not allowed to present evidence on that case because the taint of the privileged information could cause a bias or a subjective bias that alters that testimony, or the taint moves through the testimony. So typically, the DOJ would not have that agent testify if that agent had been exposed to privileged materials. Those are the three primary things in the court's order that it has, or the magistrate's order, that it has indicated a concern about?
Well, let's shift gears to another surprising legal decision. The state of Texas has redrawn congressional districts for 2026. A federal panel of 3 judges, I guess, said, no, you can't do that because it might have been drawn based not on partisan lines, but upon racial lines. Where does that go?
Well, it is before the United States Supreme Court for a stay relating to the court's order. So if the stay is granted, the Texas maps that were passed by the legislature will be in effect for the 2026 election. If it is not, then the old or the previously approved maps would be in place, and that would actually alter a lot of the candidate plans. You know, candidates have announced and started fundraising for the new districts. The deadline for much of this is in December in Texas. And so I think there might be a stay. You know, all of this area of law is in a great deal of flux relating to recent Supreme Court decisions that have essentially said, you know, partisan gerrymandering is a political question the court should not get involved in. It's really up to the legislature.
It's a political question.
That's right.
Right.
But you still have the Voting Rights Act as well, which says under Article 2 you can't engage in voter dilution. And you also
have... But how can they determine that so quickly? That seems to me to be the problem. That's why I would say your guess that the Supreme Court might stay the ruling I'd probably have the same guess.
Well, you're absolutely correct. And this court actually went further. It said it was a violation of the Constitution, the way that this was done. The Constitution does not allow you to use race as a predominant factor in drawing legislative districts. And the court relied on a letter from the Department of Justice, which was telling Texas that its coalition districts under federal law were not allowed. Coalition districts is where you have a combination of minority groups. And
hey, Phil, we are about to run out of time, but as always, outstanding legal analysis from our very good friend for many years, leading legal expert in the country and former Attorney General of the state of Kansas and a law professor at Liberty University. Phil, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it, as always.
You bet. Thank you.
Hey, when we come back, EJ will be in the anchor chair back in Nashville. I will be the guest here in Washington, D.C. This is the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendment, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
When you're learning something new, experience matters. At Lifestyles Unlimited, we've spent over 30 years teaching people how real estate investing works and how to build income with a clear, step-by-step strategy. Our program is designed to help you learn what to do, why it works, and how to take action at your own pace. Join today for just $297, a 60% savings off the regular price. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul-off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. Is the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning. This is EJ Haas filling in for MPL while he is on site, as they say. He is out of the studio in DC, so we're tag teaming to get you all the latest news of the day. Michael Patrick Leahy, welcome to your own show on well, I guess on what's the word I'm looking for? You're on
the John
site.
Fredericks Media Network.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Hey, why don't you explain to everyone why you're not here sitting in the big chair?
Sure. Well, first, what a great job you're doing, EJ. You're really a fantastic host.
You're too
and so I've been talking with John Fredericks, and he keeps telling me, "Who is she? She's really good. Who is she?"
I gotta meet that guy.
Well, you will in the next segment. He's going to join us and chat a little bit in the D block here. But let's talk about where we are right now. We are in the John Fredericks studios. And literally, as you can see behind me, the White House, we are just a few blocks from the White House in Washington, D.C., EJ. And tonight, we will be going to a fancy hotel in Washington, D.C., where we will be, it's a black tie event. I'm not wearing a bow tie. I do have a black tie, but I'm going to be there with a number of other journalists who've been nominated for the National Journalism Awards that are put on by Young America's Foundation. You know, Scott Walker,
yeah,
the former governor of Wisconsin,
yep,
is
a neighbor, so to speak. When I was in Minnesota, we actually helped him with some, work projects and some election projects and trying to fight the unions, it seemed, at every corner. Yeah, very familiar with Scott Walker.
And so we'll probably see him tonight. And it's a big gala event here in Washington, D.C. And we are up for, it's called the Dow Prize, DAO. Mr. Dow was a successful entrepreneur and has basically put together funding for a National Journalism Award. This will be the third year for the awards. Now, it's interesting because in 2023, these are very prestigious awards. The hierarchy here is Young America's Foundation has a National Journalism Center, and the National Journalism Awards are called the Dow Prize, who's the fellow who's funded it. And in 2023, the very first year of the awards, you'll be very interested to find out that the winners of the National Journalism Award in 2023 were three people. They all combined to win it for the Twitter files. Matt Taibbi, Barry Weiss,
yep,
and Michael Schellenberger. So pretty strong, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So what great company you are in. Who else is up for this award, and when do you get to find out when you win?
Well, they don't tell you. You got to be there in person, which is why I'm here. So tonight, it'll be at 6 o'clock tonight. And, it's a lot of networking with national journalists from the Washington Free Beacon and from other outlets as well. And so they have the big awards, and you get to know various folks. In our category, we are in the local journalism category.
Mm-hmm.
There are 6 nominations. We actually have 2 of those nominations. And the nominees are all 3 of us on the investigative reporting team. That's
Sure.
myself and Christina Botteri and Tom Pappert. And we are nominated for 2 series. One being our reporting on Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and the other on the Covenant Killer Manifesto.
Yeah, both categories, you clearly led the nation. I mean, Pappert in particular, finding some video and digging into that. Christina, obviously, being a major player in how that reporting went down. Really incredible work, and nice to be recognized for that. And truly, it was your reporting. It was the reporting of the Tennessee Star and the 3 of you that made, for instance, the traffic stop of Kilmar Abrego Garcia national news. Without you, it wouldn't have happened, right? So that's very exciting.
Yeah, EJ, it's interesting. If you look at news, what is news supposed to be? It's supposed to be about reporting the truth. And that's what we've been doing at the Tennessee Star now for 8.5 years. Oh, my goodness. We're coming up on 9 years. But it's a tough environment, particularly for conservative media, because, the Google and
Sure.
Facebook and all those others have been throttling us for years and years and years. But so it's good to have recognition. I will say this about the Kilmar Abrego Garcia story. We broke the story. Of course, he came to kind of the public attention back in March of this year when he was deported to El Salvador. And then a huge number of law firms and lawyers and lots of money was spent to try to bring him back and to claim.
You mean like Democrat grifters and people who want the public spotlight and Democrat fundraisers? They had something to say about that.
Well, EJ, he's currently represented, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is currently represented by 4 very expensive high-end law firms. All 4 of these law firms are devoting huge resources to it. Tom Pappert and Christina Botteri and I estimate that so far they've spent over $10 million
Unreal.
in legal fees.
On one guy. One guy. And let's remind the audience who this guy is. You'd have to be living under a rock to not know who Kilmar Abrego Garcia is at this point. But he's MS-13 gang member, covered in tattoos that prove as such. He, was trafficking people, it seems, allegedly. Right, for over state lines. I mean, this guy is no saint. What's the incentive to be his lawyer? I don't get that.
No, this is a delay tactic.
Sure.
He is the poster child for delaying the removal of illegal aliens from the United States and delaying the removal of alleged criminals and sometimes convicted criminals. In his case, he's not been convicted yet. He's an alleged human smuggler, but he came into this country illegally in 2012. As you know, we did a very, very long hour-plus documentary on whether or not he got due process. And yeah, the guy's gotten more due process than anyone in American history.
I think he said excessive process.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then tell me about the other, the Covenant killer. What got you to this status where you're being recognized tonight?
Well, we've been nominated. We haven't won. But the Covenant Killer Manifesto, as you know, we have been tirelessly working to get all of those documents from Audrey Elizabeth Hale, the 28-year-old female, born female, who self-identified as transgender male, who on March 27th, 2023, walked into Covenant School here in Nashville and murdered 3 9-year-olds and 3 staff members, left behind voluminous writings. We asked under the Tennessee Public Records Act to get those documents from Metro Nashville government, police department. They refused. We sued them. The state case, we lost in trial court because the Chancery Court judge decided that, well, it's still an ongoing investigation, which it is no longer. And the copyright claims that were transferred, wait for it, by the parents of the killer to the parents of the kids at the school in a trust, those copyright claims, which are federal, prevent the release of these documents. It's a ludicrous argument. We have appealed that, and the appellate court oral arguments were held last month. We think we did a really terrific job. We think we'll win in that case. But we also filed a federal case against the FBI. We ended up actually, in essence, settling and winning that case and have received about 800 of 2,000 pages so far. There are some other documents, though, that Metro Nashville still has, and we want them. And so we think we'll be able to get them once the appellate court rules in our favor, which we believe they will.
That's incredible. And so we can expect more reporting, not less, from you folks and the Tennessee Star and really get to the bottom of it, right? The whole point is to report the truth and to expose everything that's been kind of kept under wraps. And why keep all of this under wraps? So I'm thrilled for you that you're there and that you are even to be nominated as being recognized as a leader in your field, a leader in investigative journalism. That's really incredible. Congratulations to that. What else are you doing in DC?
Well, of course, hanging out with the great John Frederick. So I think if all goes well, will join us here and we'll chat a little bit with you in our next segment about, you know, we can ask John a little bit, what's it like to be in the White House?
Sure.
And be part of that media crew. You know, he's there, and you know, he's there at the same time where you know, the regime media, ABC, CBS, NBC.
I have an idea for John. He should be keeping tabs on all the best insults. And let's write a book. Let's have an ebook of all the best insults to the media during Trump presidency 2.0.
Or you could do another book, good and relevant questions from regime media of President Trump, and it would be one of those books where you open it up and there's, you know, empty pages.
Nothing. I think that would sell a lot less. You know, maybe we can make a toilet paper book out of that one, right? All right, we've got just another 30 seconds here. Let's go ahead to break. When we come back, the great John Fredericks. Definitely excited to hear from him. You are listening to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. I am EJ Haas, tag teaming with the great MPL today. See you in just a minute.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced nutrition company, Healthy Cell, created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com. HEALTHYCELL.com.
Cold weather is here, and it's only getting colder. When you want instant whole room warmth, you go with Eden Pure, a trusted name for years on my show. Now they've done it again with the Eden Pure Gen 40 Plus infrared heater. This powerful compact unit gives you fast, even heat you can feel in seconds. Infrared heat warms you directly, not just the air around you, and it doesn't dry out the air. It's quiet, compact, and safe with multiple built-in safety shutoffs, and it heats up to 1,000 square feet, perfect for the living room, bedroom, or office. And right now, Eden Pure is thanking our listeners. The Gen 40 Plus normally sells for $224, but Eden Pure is giving our VIP listeners an additional $50 off, bringing it to just $174. That's right, only $174 for state-of-the-art infrared heater. Now, this is a limited time offer with a strict limit of 3, and supplies are moving fast. So go to EdenPureDeals.com, use promo code Godzilla50. EdenPureDeals.com, promo code Godzilla50.
Get in. We're stealing homes. We're not like those other home criminals that steal your stuff. We steal your hard-earned home equity. We find your property online from the public record. Got it. Create a deed transfer that makes us the homeowners. Got it. And borrow tons of cash against your equity, and you won't know till the foreclosure notice hits months later.
Just go to HometitleLock.com/Godzilla. Protect yourself.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby tackle today's biggest issues with a New York state of mind.
We are going to talk about dirty money.
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party.
Treat yourself to a bite of the apple.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Cats and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And those are the big headlines of the day.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back in. This is EJ filling in the studio seat here, but tag teaming with the great Michael Patrick Leahy as he is in D.C. doing big, important things and being recognized for big, important things. Joining us now from D.C., Michael Patrick Leahy and John Fredericks of the John Fredericks Radio Network. Hello, gentlemen.
EJ, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for having your host, Michael. Thanks for having the host with you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for trusting me with the big seat, because these are some big shoes to fill, right?
EJ, this is so much fun, and thank you for making this work. You're doing a great job. Isn't she doing a great job? Hosting.
I like her.
She's
I really do.
fantastic.
Of course, we've got you on the big TV screen. You're on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, so I watch you on that right behind me sometimes, and or when I'm at home, and you really fill up the screen. You do a great job.
Fantastic.
John, tell EJ about what it's like being part of the White House media team.
Well, it's like it's like sitting down at the bar scene at Star Wars is probably the best way to explain it. I sit in there with the majority. There's 47 seats. Let me tell you how it works. The White House Correspondents Association, of which I am a member, had been a member. Then they kicked me out. Then I threatened a lawsuit. Then I got back in.
Nice.
And because I have the credentials to be there, and it's not ideological based. So I had to go through that, but there's 47 seats. You go in there, and when you look at it on TV, you think it's bigger. It's very tight.
Yeah.
There's 47 seats, and there's about, I say on an average day there, now with Trump, there's about 120 people.
Jeez.
That means that the other 70 are standing up
right
along the aisles. And, I've done that for a long period of time. I was there in 2017 when Trump first won, and I'd stand up, and there was enough room. But now what's happened is because Trump is so accessible, when Biden was there, a handful of people would go and stand up.
Right
now, you get 70 people. It's standing room. You're packed in like sardines. You got to stand up for two hours to get a standing spot.
Right.
And now what they've done is, I'm just giving you detail that you don't want, but these people are coming in with these podcast cameras. Or they do their Zoom or whatever they do. And so they've got all these camera stands and camera bags along the sides, which is squeezed it tighter. They should ban those like they did.
I have an idea, John.
But it's really hard.
How about with the construction of the ballroom, we ask the president to also include a larger press corps room for these things. So maybe in the construction of the East Wing, they can put in a larger room there so that all the new media sources and old media sources and all of their equipment can actually fit in there.
Well, I think they need to do that because 47 seats doesn't cut it. And, so look, the thing is, you go in there, Caroline Leavitt is doing a phenomenal job. She's really the best press secretary I've experienced. And I've been through a bunch of them, Spicer, et cetera, all the way through KJP. And Psaki, and now Caroline Leavitt. So she's phenomenal, and she handles the press very, very well. She has a great relationship, and if you get out of line, she'll just shut you down and not call on you for 5 or 6 in a row. So you got to really be somewhat respectful, not like it was when Spicer was there and Sarah Huckabee when they were just rude. But look, the bottom line is, the overwhelming majority of the people with seats there are left-wing, super libtards. And so, you sit there and they ask stupid gotcha questions that have no meaning to anything. Everybody's trying to get a soundbite on their network.
They just
and
want
they do
the
it by
clicks
doing
now,
the gotcha
John.
questions.
It's all about the clicks. That's all, it's all about the engagement. They want the X clicks, TikTok, etc. So, yeah, you're doing a pretty good job. We only have a couple more minutes. What's some of the better questions and answers you've asked and received in that press room?
Well, I think what I try to do, the purpose of being there is to ask a question to inform your audience about what is going on. So that's really what I try to do. I asked the question about, the 600,000 Chinese students. Like, what is the thinking beyond that? Because a lot of our base thinks it's anathema like me. And there's a way to do it. You can challenge it to get a click and be rude, or you can simply say, can you share with us the president's thinking on allowing 600,000 Chinese students funded by the CCP into our colleges, which are ostensibly taking seats from Americans. And then when they graduate, they don't leave, and some of them become spies. Can you help us understand his thinking?
Right.
So a question like that, you're going to get effusive enumeration on it that you can bring back to your audience. Rather than argue with it or frame it in a way that's confrontive, it's like, just tell me what your thinking is.
Sure.
I don't agree with it, but that doesn't matter.
Right.
I want to understand what the president's thinking.
Yeah,
is.
I frequently say that the reporters in the room frame every question like this. Miss Leavitt, You suck, your boss sucks, and everything they say sucks. And we would like to know why you suck and how you're going to continue to suck in the future. Like, that's kind of the basis of every question.
Now, you know, the best thing about it is I'm in the White House press pool rotation.
Nice.
Which means that about once a month or so I get to go and be part of the pool, and so I've gotten to go to the Oval Office.
Nice. We've got to run. I'm sorry to cut you off. You know, we've got the break here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. That is really terrific. When we come back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, we're going to talk about Democrats encouraging a military coup, and of course, we will hit on the Epstein stuff. Join us after the break.
Ponder this. Most of us in America have more than we need to sustain ourselves, like a roof over our heads, food to eat, and clothes to wear, and much more. The one thing we seem to be lacking every day is more time. There is never enough time in our day, or in a night for that matter. That being said, we try to create more time each day by rushing around to perhaps buy a little more time. We rush from one event to another. We double or even triple task to save time. We drive fast cars to get to our fast food restaurants. Our days are full with little time left for family, friends, and God. To better manage your pace, take a minute each morning to get on your knees and let the Lord know that you are giving Him all your time today. Sincerely ask Him to give you clear direction on what He wants you to accomplish each day. The Lord will make sure you have plenty of time for His will to be done without rushing around. Listen to the Lord to manage your time each day. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV, Portsmouth.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. First, the House, then the Senate passed the bill directing the Department of Justice to release all of the Jeffrey Epstein files. President Trump says he will sign the bill, although he calls the Epstein matter a Democrat hoax, says it's meant to distract from numerous Republican accomplishments since he took the White House for a second time. The president formally designating Saudi Arabia a major non-NATO ally.
The president made the announcement at a White House dinner for the kingdom's crown prince, a move that aims to elevate the military relationship between the two countries. While the designation is largely symbolic, it does provide foreign partners with certain benefits in the areas of defense, trade, and security cooperation.
Correspondent Ken Lorman. Looks like the Crescent City is up next.
Sources tell AP 250 federal border agents are set to descend on New Orleans in the coming weeks for a 2-month immigration crackdown. Dubbed Swamp Sweep, the operation aims to arrest some 5,000 people across southeast Louisiana and Mississippi.
Correspondent Ben Thomas. Setback for Republicans in a redistricting case out of Texas.
A panel of 3 federal judges has blocked Texas from using a new congressional map that Republicans drew in hopes of picking up 5 U.S. House seats. In a 2-1 ruling Tuesday, the judges in El Paso sided with opponents who claimed Texas redrawing of congressional districts would harm black and Hispanic residents. Texas filed an immediate appeal with the Supreme Court Tuesday evening. Jason Walker reporting.
Stocks are higher on Wall Street this hour. The Dow is up 29 points. The Nasdaq trading 291 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, it's Mike Gallagher, host of The Mike Gallagher Show. I don't mess around when it comes to saving you money. Right now, rates have dropped to the lowest level in over a year and a half. That means if you bought your home or refinanced in the last 3 years, you could be saving hundreds of dollars every month. Lower your rate, lower your monthly payment, even kick that pesky PMI to the curb. And get this, you can skip 2 full months of mortgage payments. But that's not all. Fellowship Home Loans just rolled out something incredible. Their very own HELOC and lines of credit. Approval in just 5 minutes. Money in your account in as little as 4 days. It's the easiest system you've ever used. You can do it yourself online. Whether you want to pay off bills, tackle a home project, cover education, or even a wedding, Fellowship Home Loans makes it simple to leverage the money that's already sitting in your house. Just go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending guided by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Russia strikes multiple targets across Ukraine.
A regional governor says a Russian drone attack on Kharkiv has injured at least 40 people overnight into Wednesday as firefighters work to battle blazes and evacuate residents. Drones attacked several city districts, hitting at least 16 residential buildings, an ambulance station, a school, and other civilian infrastructure. Kharkiv Oblast Governor Oleh Sinahubov wrote on Telegram. Meanwhile, Russian drones and missiles struck an energy facility in the Lviv region, the regional head says, with no injuries reported. But a Russian aerial attack on several 9-story residential buildings in Ternopil, western Ukraine, has killed at least 9 people and injured dozens more, says President Volodymyr Zelensky, adding rescuers were working on site to save lives. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
News and analysis at townhall.com. So much speculation over what the Federal Reserve will do next.
It was considered almost certain there would be another rate cut. Now it's a coin flip.
A further reduction in the policy rate at the December meeting is not a foregone conclusion.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell was cautious after last month's cut, and some policymakers have shown greater concern over persistent inflation and affordability that played a large role in this month's elections. There are also fears the job market could worsen and layoffs could become more widespread. That issue could be cleared up by the late release of September jobs numbers. Fewer rate cuts by the Fed could also leave borrowing costs for homes and cars higher. Ed Donahue, Washington.
More arguments today before a judge as former FBI Director James Comey fights for dismissal of the criminal case against him. His lawyers are hoping to convince the judge that Comey is a target of vindictive prosecution. More on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Hello, hello, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. I am EJ Host, found at EJ Under the Radar on X, filling in the big chair here and co-teaming, co-hosting, I don't know. We're tag teaming for the show today with the great Michael Patrick Leahy, who is on site in Washington, D.C. for some really prestigious awards. Really just unbelievable investigative reporting by the Tennessee Star and the team, Christina Botteri and Tom Pappert. So congratulations again to you all. We talked about that last hour. This hour, however, we are going with Democrats Gone Wild. Welcome to the show, sir.
Well, EJ, I was watching some of the statements made by Democrat congressional leaders yesterday, and it sounded to me like they are asking the national intelligence services here in America and military to basically engage in insurrection.
Right,
well, that may be
sedition
a bit of an
or a
much.
coup, right? Yeah, absolutely. I actually pulled up, Michael, because I know that you have a brilliant law mind and you like that sort of thing. I found violation of 18 U.S. Code 2387. Let me read this to you. And then we're going to play the clip and see if it coincides. Whoever advises, counsels, urges, or in any manner causes or attempts to cause insubordination, disloyalty, mutiny, or refusal of duty by any member of the military or naval forces of the United States. So keep that in mind, and let's play clip 16.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
and intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
Like us. You all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
or Navy,
the Air Force,
your vigilance is critical.
And know that we have your back.
Because now, more than ever,
the American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws,
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
All right. I have lots of thoughts on this one, but I want to get your take. Do you think that this in any way advises, counsels, urges, or in any manner causes or attempts to cause insubordination, disloyalty, mutiny, or refusal of duty?
It absolutely does. It does quite factually encourage insubordination.
Right.
And that is a violation of that statute. All those Democrats are violating that statute.
Yeah, absolutely. I found it interesting. First of all, how do we have so many military and intelligence officers in such a small group of people, right? We're only talking about a few hundred people, right? 500 or so in Congress and in the Senate. And they are... there's a lot of them that have military and CIA background. That is interesting in and of itself. Like, why do they go from military not to a regular job or to go out in the regular their communities, live in their places of where you would find businesses? Why do they stay in that public service role, so to speak? Because I think it clouds their judgment. They think they have more power than they do, or that they should, and I think they let it go to their head, and that's a real problem. The other thing I noticed is that they said you must or you should refuse illegal orders if they violate the Constitution or the law. Do we really think that all members of the military understand the Constitution or laws? Because those kinds of things tend to go through the courts and sometimes all the way up to the Supreme Court to determine constitutionality. So what are they saying here?
You know, I think it is reckless for them to encourage insubordination in that way. Because simply to say, well, a military officer or an intelligence officer can refuse an illegal order, that is only part of the story. There is a very, very lengthy, detailed process by which any military officer or any intelligence officer would go through a process to determine whether or not an order is legal. 99.99999% of every order given is legal.
Right.
And to prove that an order is illegal, well, that is a huge process. They didn't mention that at all. That's
right.
why they're fostering insubordination.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Disloyalty. I think that's another one. You know, just fostering disloyalty is dangerous in and of itself, even if it is a constitutional or it's unconstitutional. You're basically fomenting anger, fomenting disloyalty among our military. I do have another question for you, though, because I like to kind of dig in and say, all right, wait a minute. what is the broader picture? What are they trying to, do with this video? Because remember, the video was not just for the military. It is not. Of course it's not. It was worldwide. Everybody can see it now. Clearly, they said that trust in our military is in danger. That's a pretty awful thing to say. So they're not just saying, okay, military, you should be against the current administration and you can refuse orders, but also, hey, military, you should be scared that if you don't do this, you're damaging the trust of the people of the United States. That is also dangerous. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think you're exactly right. And it's a message to our foreign enemies, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe American troops won't execute legal orders given to them by the president and their superiors. That's a national security problem.
Sure.
And as I said, it's very reckless for these military veterans to say that. What this is evidence really is of the deep state.
True.
That's the deep state way of resisting lawful orders of the president.
Right. That's right. And you have to remember that we have, like it or lump it, we've got spies and intelligence folks from all over the world that have infiltrated every last department in our agencies. You'd have to be a fool to think that we don't have some in our military. They've definitely been playing the long game when it comes to the Chinese, for example. John Fredericks mentioned earlier about the 600,000 Chinese college students that they want on our college campuses. And so, you have to assume that they are kind of giving a signal to those folks, right? That, hey, here's your next in. Go ahead and tell them it's unconstitutional. And we know that our brains can be manipulated to believe things like that if we are shown it over and over and over again, which is why the Democrats lie over and over and over again, is to try and get their points across. So I agree with you. Reckless, dangerous, and quite honestly, maybe illegal. So I hope the Republicans and the administration will do something about that.
EJ, I don't think it's maybe illegal. I think it is illegal.
Sounds like it.
And the question is, what is the prosecution mechanism?
Yeah.
And do attorneys at the Department of Justice have the intent and the desire to fully uphold our laws?
Yeah, that's counting on DOJ, which hasn't been great so far. All right, when we come back, I've got more Democrats gone wild. This is the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
Ponder this. Most of us are familiar with social media influencers. People that claim expertise on some probably irrelevant topic. Many hours are wasted following people online who do not add an ounce of value to our lives. There is only one influencer who matters, and you should be following him and his messages every day. He holds the keys to our peace. He shows us how to live lives of meaning. He is there to help us carry our daily crosses. He is Jesus Christ, and he is the influencer extraordinaire. Are you one of his followers? Are you wasting time with useless information that will not bring peace and love to your life? Ask the Lord each day to provide you with spiritual influence that will change your life forever. I'm Susie Kelly, and I am passionately Catholic.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
The Katz and Cosby Show.
It's the top news of the day.
John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby tackle today's biggest issues with a New York state of mind.
We are going to talk about dirty money.
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party.
Treat yourself to a bite of the apple.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Katz and Cosby, weekdays 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the stations of the John Fredericks Media Network.
And those are the big headlines of the day.
President Trump is rebuilding our economy, but we need every American in the fight. People leaving federal prison have a 60% unemployment rate, but a job is the #1 factor in preventing reoffense. The Safer Supervision Act is a pro-jobs bill. It helps people leaving prison on federal supervision rejoin our workforce to turn former prisoners into taxpayers. Strengthen our economy. Make America safer. Support the Safer Supervision Act. Visit safersupervision.com. This message paid for by the Reform Action Fund.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours, true American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
We are rocking and rolling today on Wednesday, November 19th. This has been a heck of a show. Different format today. I am EJ Host, filling the big chair here for Michael Patrick Leahy, who is in Washington, D.C., joining us via the Zoom Newsmaker line. We've been talking, Michael, about the Democrats basically losing their minds. We've been actually talking about this, though, for weeks. You and I have said many times over that to be a Democrat now, you have to be, like, clinically insane. Like, they're really going off the deep end here. I mean, we joke about Trump derangement syndrome, but they are becoming increasingly dangerous, fighting their own country. And I don't think they're really looking long term here at what that means. They're so focused on the next election and taking down Trump that they're not thinking long term what that means for the United States of America as a country. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because you see it, you saw in that clip that you played earlier of all these Democratic members of the Congress, in essence, encouraging insubordination within the armed forces and within the intelligence community. I think that the Department of Justice is going to look at that. I think there may well be charges filed in that particular case. But let's look further. Let's look at what's going on with blue states, blue cities, and federal district court judges.
Yes.
And trial court judges in blue cities, both in blue states and in red states. they're all in a long line of "We hate America, let's destroy it."
That's right. And lawfare has become kind of the way they're getting some of this done, stopping and stalling the administration's initiatives when it comes to everything from ICE to, Doge cuts to USAID, all of it. They're really using the judicial to thwart everything that we voted for. And that's really uncomfortable. I want to play a clip for you. Our favorite spy's boyfriend, Eric Swalwell, Representative Eric Swalwell. This guy is something else, man. He's, the one who's done the videos in the gym, acting like he works out and everything. But I'm actually concerned for his health right now. The working out isn't enough. His brain may have completely melted. Listen to this clip. He's talking about ICE and Homeland Security. And yeah, I think the guy's off the deep end.
And Kristi Noem and Tom Homan, you should familiarize yourself with the four corners of this room. Kristi Noem and Tom Homan, get to know that witness chair. You're going to be parked in it for a long time. You're going to have a lot of questions under oath with the subpoena power. And I hope what you're doing is clean and can withstand the scrutiny that everyone on this side of the aisle is going to bring. You think we won't do it. You think you're invincible. You're wrong. Accountability is coming. You've got about a year, and I yield back.
Wow, that's a heck of a threat against the Secretary of Homeland Security. I mean, that's madness, is it not?
Well, we do a news potpourri segment at the end of the third hour. We talk about irony, right? Here is a guy who allegedly had an affair with a Chinese communist spy,
Fang Fang,
right? And he's talking about the need for accountability.
Right.
He's also running for governor of California, supposedly. He also is under investigation for, wait for it, mortgage fraud. But you know what I think is the most irritating thing about Eric Swalwell?
What's that?
I'm just going to show my age here. I guess it's the style or the look among younger men these days to go with the 2 or 3 days I haven't shaved type thing. I guess they're trying to project
the
masculinity.
Dirty facial hair.
It just looks like you're lazy. Now, yeah. I know there are others that, it's fairly common, but nothing, to me, I'm looking at that video, nothing says soy boy quite like Eric Swalwell sporting that, 2 or 3 day I haven't shaved look.
Do you know how old he is? I just looked it up. He's 45 years old. So
really?
he's too old
like he's
for
20.
the dirty facial hair soy boy thing. I mean, really, unless he's going to go ahead and man bun, maybe he should just try to look professional. And I get it. That's personal preference. I'm kind of with you on that one. I think what really bothers me about this too, though, is that the Democrats are telling us what they're going to do. And he's right. We should listen to them when they say so.
I think you make a very good point there. We've talked about this before, EJ. We have really, since I think the start of the Tea Party movement back in 2008, 2009, we've been concerned about the future of our constitutional republic. And we had the Election Day Tea Party in 2010 where Republicans took back the House. That didn't work so well because John Boehner became the speaker.
Sure.
That the national debt was, I think, when the Republicans took over the House, was like $12 trillion. It's like $38 trillion today. So they didn't do a very good job on that, neither the Democrats nor the Republicans. But then came Donald Trump, and he won in Trump 1.0, did well. Biden, in essence, they cheated and got him in for 4 years. And now we have Trump 2.0. Some people EJ, think, okay, we can relax now. Oh, no.
No, definitely
Oh, no.
not.
Got to win
Definitely
the
not.
midterms.
Yep.
Got to win the midterms.
That's exactly right. And actually, I wanted to ask you, maybe we'll do this after the next break. I wanted to ask you about Texas and their redistricting, because I think you'll have a good kind of legal definition of what we should be looking for in that. But the larger point this segment being that the Democrats have really lost their minds. They keep telling us that they are going to come after once Trump isn't in office anymore, they are going to come after. I think you're right, though. The midterms is when, if we don't win the midterms, we're really in trouble, right? I mean, because then they'll have the House, they will have hearing after hearing, and everything that we've been moving toward is going to stall.
Well, the Democrats have demonstrated that they are completely dishonest, and they have one goal, which is to have power and to destroy their enemies, which is basically anybody who supports our constitutional republic. They are going to be even worse if they get control of the House, which means the over-under on, if they were to control the House of Representatives, the over-under on the number of times Donald Trump would be impeached is probably about 20.
Yeah, exactly. And then, again, you're going to see people like Secretary Noem, who will be hauled in for useless hearings. I mean, this has been a constant fight. We fight our own side and say, enough with the hearings, actually do something, right? It's always a hearing. It's a soundbite. It's a fundraising opportunity. It's a TikTok video, whatever. And so I do think it's very dangerous. And Swalwell is just one. I mean, if we give the House back to the Democrats, you know who's running that House? AOC. Do we really want Alexandria Cortez being in charge of the party politics? First of all, she's not smart enough, but she's also a puppet. And as much as we want to say that she's this independent woman, she's not. Just like Eric Swalwell, they get their orders, they get their talking points from the larger, party apparatus. Not necessarily deep state types like Schumer, but I just mean those people who want to usher in socialism. They've got kind of their own fundraising happening. That's why we have Mamdani in New York City and the rest. And that, I think, is the message for Republicans going forward. If you want to protect Republicans and the president, and quite honestly, our country from socialism and the likes of AOC, you best hold the House.
Yeah, and what'll happen is it'll just put a stop on most actions of the Trump administration 2.0.
Yep, absolutely.
But then 2028 comes up, and if they get a hold of the presidency and Congress, they're going to pack the Supreme Court.
Yep.
They're going to go for statehood for Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia. And you can kiss our constitutional republic goodbye if that happens.
That's absolutely correct. When we come back, we are going to talk about the Epstein files. I'm putting that in air quotes for those listening on the radio. We'll talk more about that when we come back.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up in 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
Cold weather is here, and it's only getting colder. When you want instant whole room warmth, you go with Eden Pure, a trusted name for years on my show. Now they've done it again with the Eden Pure Gen 40 Plus infrared heater. This powerful compact unit gives you fast, even heat you can feel in seconds. Infrared heat warms you directly, not just the air around you, and it doesn't dry out the air. It's quiet, compact, and safe with multiple built-in safety shutoffs, and it heats up to 1,000 square feet. Perfect for the living room, bedroom, or office. And right now, Eden Pure is thanking our listeners. The Gen 40 Plus normally sells for $224, but Eden Pure is giving our VIP listeners an additional $50 off bringing it to just $174. That's right, only $174 for state-of-the-art infrared heater. Now, this is a limited time offer with a strict limit of 3, and supplies are moving fast. So go to EdenPureDeals.com, use promo code Godzilla50. EdenPureDeals.com, promo code Godzilla50.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke, she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumberyard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Hello again, EJ Haas here on the microphone in the Michael Patrick Leahy Show studios here in Nashville, Tennessee. Joining me from Washington, D.C. is the great Michael Patrick Leahy. Hello, sir.
We are just a few blocks from the White House right now, as you can see from the backdrop. And, I just might mosey on over and ask the president a few questions this afternoon.
I would love that. Make sure you take out your phone and record. Although your phone is a little ancient, a little cracked, a little messed up. So maybe bring a friend.
Oh, no. I got a new one 3 weeks ago.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I all of the times you were pointing out how ancient the phone was, finally got to me. So I got a new one.
Yeah. And where are we on the laptop? Because that could use an upgrade too.
Oh, the laptop needs total change. It's like ancient.
I'm gonna bring you over to the Apple side. So while you're there in DC, any chance you're gonna head over and check out the construction of the new ballroom?
Yeah. I think I'll go look at that. EJ, we're talking about how crazy the Democrats are. The ballroom is being constructed with private money. Mm-hmm. It's, $300 million, and it's a much needed addition.
Yeah.
But The Democrats are now saying, well, if we win the presidency in 2028, we're going to tear it down.
Yeah.
That's how stupid they are.
Senator Elizabeth Warren out of Massachusetts said that she's filing legislation to halt the building of the ballroom. Like, who's going to vote for that? I mean, Democrats and Republicans have wanted a ballroom at the White House for decades, like a long time.
Elizabeth Warren is such a joke. I know I've written about her since 2012. When we documented that she has zero zip nada Native American ancestry. She did this DNA test.
0.00001%, yes.
Yeah, which is like less than the average American has. So, she's a total joke. And
a liar, by the way, obviously.
Yeah, there's nothing that she can do to stop the construction of that. And that bill is just designed to raise money with her left-wing nutcase buddies.
Yeah, with the Looney Tunes base, man. It's absolutely crazy. All right, so let's switch gears here because this is a big topic. Lots of clips, lots of really digging in. Yesterday, the Epstein Files Transparency Act passed the House with a 427-1 vote. And we're going to get into who that one is in just a minute. Keep in mind, too, that we've got some special elections, so it's not a full House right now. That's why we always talk about that really small minority. We've got a representative that passed. There's a special election for that coming up. So not a clean, 435 as it usually is. But the Senate unanimously approved it shortly after via consent. The House formally transmitted the bill to the Senate this morning, completing the process and sending it directly to the president's desk. So President Trump is expected to sign this. He has said that he will sign this act as soon as it reaches his desk. And then the DOJ, Department of Justice, and Pam Bondi, the AG, will have 30 days to release, and I'm doing air quotes, the files. Okay. So here's where I think this gets a little wonky. And I want to make it perfectly clear because I know all kinds of crazy lefties out there and a bunch of the, sycophant America First, MAGA right people will say, I'm in favor of hiding pedophiles. Not true. But I am going to say I think we're looking at this the wrong way. And I agree with Representative Clay Higgins, Republican, who was the lone no vote for this particular act. Can I read to you what he said on X and what why he voted no? He said, quote, "I have been a principled no on this bill from the beginning. What was wrong with the bill 3 months ago is still wrong today. It abandons 250 years of criminal justice procedure in America. As written, this bill reveals and injures thousands of innocent people, witnesses, people who provided alibis, family members, etc. If enacted in its current form, this type of broad reveal of criminal investigative files released to a rabid media will absolutely result in innocent people getting hurt. The Oversight Committee is conducting a thorough investigation that has already released well over 60,000 pages of documents from the Epstein case." So, and it goes on a little bit further and talks more about it, but the general gist is there's innocent people that are in these files that are going to be outed, doxxed, if you will. And that presents quite a problem because my guess is those people will then turn around and sue the federal government wherever possible to get their names back or to get compensated. So it's not as clean as, hey, release it and everybody who was in it should go to jail. There are innocent people in the quote unquote files. What are your thoughts?
Well, we've heard this many a time. There's something in the United States called the Fifth Amendment, which gives everybody due process. Right? Mm-hmm. And releasing files, if there's a name in there that's some individual that somebody just threw in there, and somehow because their name is in the files, all of a sudden you'll see probably a lot of press immediately jump to the fact that they were connected to Epstein.
That's right.
That's what this guy's talking about. Now, here's what I think is going to happen on it. You understand the politics of this, right?
Of course.
It needed to be released in some redacted form. The bill they could vote on was this one, which would release everything.
Mm-hmm.
So politically, you may recall, Speaker Johnson said, well, we're going to vote on favor of this, but then we want to put together some amendments that would protect those individuals who are innocent and redact their names, etc. He asked the Senate to do that. They didn't do that because the politics of it is release it. Now, what I think is going to happen is the following. By the way, that lone dissenter, I'm sure he talked with the Speaker and said, I'm going to do this. And the Speaker probably said, okay, go ahead and do that. It passed the Senate unanimously. The President will sign it within the next 10 days.
Sure.
And then the Department of Justice has 30 days to release it. What I think they're going to do is they will apply that standard of making sure that everybody gets their due process rights. And what my expectation is, here's what I think is going to happen. They will go through and they will start releasing in 30 days. They won't release it all in 30 days because it's so many. And they will begin, they will choose to redact these documents.
Yes.
To protect those who are innocent. Then what will happen is you'll hear a hue and cry from Democrats, release it all, release it all. This will go on. This will continue until the midterm elections.
Sure.
But they'll ultimately be released. There will be I think there will be significant redactions on it.
I agree.
Now, what's interesting, EJ, look at this. You know who's mostly mentioned in these, the ones that have already been released?
Oh, Clinton. Bill and Hillary Clinton are everywhere. We already have Larry Summers, former head of Harvard and very well-known political figure, Democrat donor, et cetera. He has said that he's going to step away from public life because he's been implicated in the Jeffrey Epstein files. That's the other thing, too. I mean, we keep talking about files as if, there's a little black book or, Ghislaine Maxwell was somehow keeping like a CRM, a contact management system, and keeping track of sales. Like, that didn't happen. It was very secretive. And then if our assumptions and conspiracy theories end up to be true by some folks out there, that the CIA was involved, there's international intelligence agencies involved and things like that, it is damaging some relationships. Now, again, I am not justifying that that's okay by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not as simple, I think, as, well, we just want to see Kevin Spacey's name on there. Okay, what about all of the names of the people who really didn't do anything wrong and their names are in there anyway? That's dangerous. That's not okay. Like the witnesses who said, yeah, I saw something. It's not going to be possible for the DOJ to go in and 60,000 pages so far. How are they going to be able to go through all of that in such a short period of time and redact what needs to be redacted? I think it's a dangerous game we're playing here.
What I think is going to happen on this is there's going to be more embarrassment for Democrats than for anyone else. In particular, let's talk about Larry Summers. Already from those that have been released, apparently, as recently as 2018, maybe even 2019, he was communicating with with Epstein, who had been a convicted pedophile by that time. And he's basically been saying, hey, basically, help me meet this girl.
Right.
Really? Help. I mean, what are you thinking? What are you thinking, Larry? When we had our 25th reunion at Harvard, I went, and Larry Summers was the president of Harvard at that time. I have some breaking news. Larry Summers, whose wife is mortified at the fact that he was chasing a young girl and looking for help from Epstein, apparently, according to these emails. He's just stepped down from the board of OpenAI.
Yes.
That's just the beginning of it. I think he's got more trouble than that, actually.
Yeah. So we've got 1 minute. We're going to come back. I'm going to tee you up with a couple of things here, Michael. Stacey Plaskett, I'm sure you've heard, was texting him during a hearing. I want to play that clip for the audience, get your take on that. And then we're going to get into Massey, the always vote no on everything Thomas Massey out of Kentucky. Yeah. So let's bring it back to this same topic after the break. You are listening to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Don't go away.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
What happens in Virginia doesn't stay in Virginia. It influences policy and policymakers nationwide. The VirginiaStar.com shines a light on the issues in VA that become issues for the USA, with insightful commentary that gets to the fact of the matter. The VirginiaStar.com is your source of wisdom and truth, locally, statewide, and nationally. Log on today and every day. The VirginiaStar.com. The VirginiaStar.com.
If you've tried everything for cheek redness or breakouts and nothing works, it's not your fault. The real cause might be deeper than you think. Introducing Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream from the Wellness Company, a prescription-strength, dermatologist-developed formula that helps reduce inflammation, balance bacteria, and restore your skin's natural glow. This triple-action cream combines 3 medical-grade ingredients for powerful results. Azelaic acid to unclog pores and fade dark spots, metronidazole to control bacterial imbalance and redness, and ivermectin to calm irritation and eliminate skin parasites that contribute to rosacea and acne. Together, these ingredients work to reduce bumps, swelling, and redness while supporting smoother, healthier, and more radiant skin over time. Formulated and compounded in the United States, this FDA-approved cream is trusted by doctors for visible and lasting results. Experience clear, confident skin with the Wellness Company's Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream. U.S. residents only. Head to twc.health/Godzilla and use code Godzilla to save $20 off, plus free shipping.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this amazing Wednesday. I don't know about you where you are all over the United States, but here in Middle Tennessee, the weather is gorgeous. It is absolutely perfect. And we're kind of in that second fall. Like, we had a little bout of winter for a couple of days, and now we're right smack back into fall again. And I could take this straight through January, if you don't mind. That would be awesome. Anyway, you are listening to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. I am EJ Host, sitting in the big chair while our dear leader MPL is in Washington, D.C. Hello, Michael.
It is cold, dreary, and drizzly here in D.C.
Hey, but I wanted to ask you, do you feel safe?
I feel safe now. In fact, the place I'm staying last night, there were a couple National Guard guys who were staying there as well. So, yeah, I feel pretty safe.
Nice. I was in D.C. A few years ago, and I didn't feel unsafe necessarily during the day, but I didn't do a lot of walking around at night or anything like that. And I didn't go,
Sure.
I was at tourist places, so I didn't really go to, any dangerous neighborhoods or anything like that. But yeah, all the reports seem to say that D.C. is safe and fun and beautiful and clean. So, yeah, sounds good to me.
Well, yeah, I think the National Guard's had a big impact here. You were mentioning the delegate, not a member of Congress, but a non-voting member from the Virgin Islands. I think, what's her name? Stacey Plaskett?
Plaskett. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in 2019, when they were interviewing, when Michael Cohen appeared, the former Trump attorney, appeared before a committee of Congress, her questions were provided to her by none other than Jeffrey Epstein. That's very weird.
Very weird. Very weird. Odd in and of itself that they even have their phones with them open and reading them during a hearing. I have trouble just sitting here talking to you while on the radio program and also checking X for breaking news and that sort of thing. So clearly a distraction. If we don't want our kids in schools to have their phones, maybe we should tell the representatives and senators they shouldn't have theirs in there either. But she did try to defend herself. So Stacey Plaskett, like you said, was getting text messages. This is well after Jeffrey Epstein was accused and arrested for being a sex offender. And he was essentially coaching her. So here she is, clip 17, trying to defend herself.
And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was not public knowledge at that time that he was under federal investigation, and who was sharing information with me. Now, I heard recently.
Yeah, sharing information with me. You're trusting a random constituent, right? Like, come on. You know exactly who this guy is. You're full of baloney. Just sit down, take the L, right? Like, you're not even, I don't want to say a real congressperson. That's going to get me in trouble, but you know what I mean. He was a constituent.
She's a non-voting delegate.
Yeah, give me a break. Yeah, she definitely stepped in it right there.
Well, Pedophile Island is is in the Virgin Islands.
That's right.
And it was known in 2018, 2019, when he was texting her, it was known that he had basically pled to a sex offense a decade earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That was all well known.
That's right.
Everybody in the world knew what he was up to. She knew what he was up to.
Of course.
The purpose of that was to try to embarrass Donald Trump.
She probably got campaign money, if I had to guess, in some convoluted way for that. So here's the deal. Everybody keeps saying, okay, there's several victims out there who have a list of names. And they're going to release, they keep saying, we're going to release the names, we're going to talk about the names, whatever, but they never do. So folks are like, why don't you just say who they are? Do you know the details around this and how much money some of these women have been paid to keep their mouths shut?
No, I don't. I mean, it's a miserable story. I think it's good that all this information will finally come out, if it comes out, in a way that protects innocent people who kind of got were glancing involvement.
Some of the victims received upwards of $500,000 as a condition of keeping, of the agreement to keep their accusations right to themselves. It's unfortunate. I mean, it was millions of dollars that Epstein's estate had put into a fund to be able to pay the victims. That tells you they know they did something wrong. Mm-hmm. They know that the victims are going to be coming out and they've got legal battles ahead of them. So I have a problem with that. I also have a problem with Thomas Massie, congressman from Kentucky, notorious vote no on everything guy. He announced weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, that Epstein survivors gave him a list and that he would be able to announce those names on the floor of the House because of some protection that he would get by releasing them on the
feature
floor
debate
of the House.
Clause protection of the Constitution.
Yep. Yeah. So, but he never did. And so why not? I mean, I think there's a lot of questions around that. We've got less than a minute. What's your thought?
Thomas Massie is the only virtuous member of the House of Representatives. Just ask him.
Yeah, exactly right. Just ask him, right? Anyway, when we come back, wait, what is that I hear? Is that a helicopter?
I think it's the president with Sean Farad.
I think we have a special guest coming in studio after the break, everybody. Stay tuned.
Let's face it, losing weight isn't just about looks. It's about taking back control of your health. Tired of confusing diets and injections with harsh side effects? Meet Drop, an oral GLP-1 peptide from the Wellness Company that boosts metabolism, curbs cravings, and helps you burn fat. No needles needed. Just mix it with water and let your body do the rest. Right now, get $100 off and free shipping at twc.health/Godzilla and use the promo code Godzilla100 to save $100. Drop the weight. Take back your life.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio.
This is WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFB Portsmouth, part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. All that's needed now is President Trump's signature. Congress voting to release all government files on the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
Acting with lightning speed on Tuesday, the House and Senate approved a bill requiring the Justice Department to publicly release the files. The congressional action happened on a single day after months of delay and attempts by President Trump not to release the documents. Since taking office, he had denounced the Epstein matter as a hoax pushed by Democrats, before saying last weekend that Republicans should approve the bill. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Group of nations considered America's closest allies outside of the NATO alliance.
We're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, which is something that is very important to them.
And something very important to Americans, President Trump says, as the Saudis have committed to spend $1 trillion on the U.S. economy.
This opening up of the new avenues of cooperation between the United States and Saudi Arabia is really unprecedented.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has signed a proclamation declaring the Council for American Islamic Relations a foreign terrorist organization.
Abbott says the proclamation allows Texas to try to shut the group down. He also declared CAIR and the Muslim Brotherhood transnational criminal organizations and says they won't be allowed to buy land in Texas. Neither group is designated as a foreign terror organization by the federal government. CAIR tells Abbott in a letter that his announcement has no basis in law or fact and accuses Abbott of stoking anti-Muslim hysteria. I'm Donna Border.
A struggle on Wall Street for the Dow. It's down by 33 points, but the NASDAQ doing well, up by 134. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-762-6565. That's 800-762-6565.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
And now here's Rich Thomason with the Midday Wall Street Business Report.
Wall Street is recovering at least some of the losses from earlier this week while awaiting the latest earnings report from AI leader NVIDIA, due to report its earnings for the last quarter after the closing bell. Surging demand for its artificial intelligence chips helped it briefly top $5 trillion in total value. Target slid 1.9% after its third quarter profits tumbled, and the retailer said it expects its sales slump to extend through the crucial holiday shopping season. Lowe's jumped more than 5% after beating Wall Street's profit targets. Constellation Energy jumped 3.4% after the Department of Energy said it will loan $1 billion to help finance the restart of Constellation's nuclear power plant on Pennsylvania's 3 Mile Island. I'm Rich Thomason.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Russia is getting less popular with some of its neighbors. Poland now scaling back diplomacy after blaming Moscow for a recent case of railway sabotage.
Poland's foreign minister says he will order the closure of the last Russian consulate still operating in the country after authorities said 2 Ukrainian citizens working for Moscow are suspected of blowing up a railway line in Poland. Radek Sikorski says he had repeatedly warned Russia that its diplomatic and consular presence would be reduced further if it didn't cease hostile actions against Poland. The closure will leave Russia with only its embassy in Warsaw. On Monday, Prime Minister Donald Tusk told the Polish parliament the 2 suspects have been collaborating with the Russian secret services for a long time, adding their identities were known but could not be revealed to the public because of an ongoing probe, and that the pair had already left Poland, crossing into Belarus. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
You'll find more on these stories at townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. I am EJ Host in studio, and joining us via Zoom is our great Michael Patrick Leahy. We are tag teaming the show today as he is in Washington, D.C. Hopefully, fingers crossed, accepting a very prestigious award, but just to be nominated is a great recognition of the investigative reporting of the Tennessee Star, you, Christina Botteri, and of course the great Tom Pappert. How are you doing, Michael? You holding it together? You're still pretty excited, I imagine.
I am. I'm a little disappointed, though, because the president, we're just a few blocks from the White House. I was going to step over and talk to the president at the White House, but I think he's someplace else right now.
I may have stolen him for a little bit. Just a couple of minutes, and you stole my thunder, Michael. I am delighted to welcome to the studio 47, Mr. President Donald J. Trump. Hello, sir.
Well, I have to say hello to you, and Michael's not here, but he's still with us. He's on Zoom. We love Zoom. I invented Zoom. It's a tremendous thing, and we're doing very well. We're going to sign the Epstein bill, and a lot of people are very excited about it. We're going to get to the bottom of, unless, of course, these pages get lost on Pam's desk, too, which is always possible.
That is a possibility.
That desk eats more than Stacey Abrams. That with on an empty stomach, too. She could eat a lot. She could really put that food down. So we're very excited about it.
Yeah, well, I am thrilled to death that you're here. I have some big questions. You mentioned technology, Zoom, all that kind of stuff. Big dinner last night. Attended White House state dinner by a bunch of tech bros and that Saudi prince guy. Your thoughts on the White House state dinner last night? How'd it go?
Well, it was a beautiful dinner. You look at the Saudi prince. I shook his hand. I said we didn't know where the hell it's been. Maybe they say to me, sir, you probably shouldn't have said that, but it's very true. These are people who do some very strange things, mainly with their hands. You look at Zoran Mamdani, eats with his hands. He's going to get hand, foot, and mouth disease.
Oh,
but he's a hard person to deal with, I have to say. But the dinner went well. Elon was back.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that.
He stayed in line for now. We'll see what happens. But, we put him in timeout for a little bit. We let him out, and we'll see what happens. But the dinner was great.
Good.
It was a tremendous time.
I noticed before the dinner there was a press gaggle, so to speak, and you weren't real happy with the press in there. You've had a couple of run-ins with the press this week. You doing all right?
Well, I said to one of them, quiet piggy, because, she was acting like a pig. And you look at the mainstream media, they really are a whole bunch of swine. We call them swine. We could do it. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy should have stayed home. This little piggy should have shut the front door on Air Force One. Look at her. And everybody, all of these piggies should be quiet, or we're going to turn them all into bacon, which we happen to like, or pork chops. I chopped them up. And you look at these people, these are horrible people. And I called one of them piggy, and people aren't very happy about it.
They aren't very happy about
I'm thinking about doing that to Yamiche Alcindor. You look at her. That's not a little piggy, that's a big piggy. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, Bloomberg reporter Catherine Lucy, and apparently she is taking offense to that. You had to put them in their place when the Saudi Crown Prince, bin Salman, was in the Oval Office, and you were taking some questions there and basically said that they were being rude to your guests. Does that happen a lot, too?
They do that to a lot of people. They're usually just rude to me, though. They're usually just rude. You look at Catherine Lucy in the sky with diamonds, right? Because she's so crazy. She's probably on something, but we don't know that. No, they're very rude to the guests, and they're also usually very rude to me, and we had to put them in their place. In Saudi Arabia, if they do that, they would probably, you wouldn't be around, which we don't endorse that, but they ought to be lucky that they're asking me, their favorite president, and not somebody who would do much nastier things than, say, Piggy, right?
Yeah.
Much nastier things.
Yeah, well,
it could be a lot worse. That's all I can tell you. And we could go there if you want.
It could be a lot worse. And this isn't something new for you, Mr. President, either. I mean, clearly this is a pattern of your behavior toward women, which most, and I can speak as a woman, most of us just appreciate your honesty.
Well, you look at the first question that was asked to me by Megyn Kelly about, she said, you call women dogs and slobs and pigs and all of that. And I said, only Rosie O'Donnell. Now it's Rosie O'Donnell and Catherine Lucy, right? Those are the two people I've called that. So, but we love women. A lot of people say maybe you look at the video with Billy Bush, I might like women a bit too much, right? It almost got me in a lot of trouble. But no, we do very well with women, with men, with everybody. And I get along well with everybody, including Xi of China. I get along well with Xi. I get along well with Putin. And I get along well with everybody.
How about the chairman of Toyota? I don't know if you saw this. He had a NASCAR event. He's making massive investments in the United States, including right here in Tennessee with the electric vehicles and such. And he was seen at a NASCAR event wearing full decked out Trump Vance 2024 with a big MAGA hat on. Have you had any kind of conversations with the chairman of Toyota?
Well, we love the chairman of Toyota. You know, that they make a very good product, and he's investing in our country. He's investing, if we're investing in NASCAR, Denny Hamlin, he drives the 11, and he's a tremendous guy. He got robbed. You look at the end of the NASCAR, it was totally rigged against him, and if I was Denny Hamlin, I would appeal. He should have won the championship, but he drives a Toyota, and it was the greatest car, so fast. The only car faster than Denny is probably the Beast. They call it the Beast. I led the first lap of the Daytona 500, and I told William Byron, who won, and he goes to Liberty University, tremendous guy. I told him, if I would have run the whole race, I would have won in a landslide, but we didn't do that. We let somebody else win. But Toyota's doing a great job for our country, and they're doing a great job for NASCAR. And we love the CEO. He's a great guy, very smart. You can see what he's wearing. He's a very smart person.
Yeah, for sure. His name is Akio Toyoda.
Tremendous person. I
Toyota
know him very
with a
well.
D,
Toyota.
which is pretty interesting.
Akio, we love that name. Akio.
Yeah, full MAGA gear. So that was
Perfect
pretty exciting. You mentioned investments, and we've got Michael from DC jump in if you have any questions. Also, the Saudi prince said that he is going to invest $1 trillion into the U.S. economy.
Well, you saw what happened first. He said $600 billion, right? Did you watch that?
Yeah.
And I said, we're going to do $1 trillion. And by the end, we got $1 trillion. That's called the art of the deal. And who else could have done that? Crooked Joe would have done another Operation Tootsie Roll. You know what I'm talking about. He did it at the Vatican, and they had a lot of problems. It was a Tootsie Roll. And we speak Spanish very well. Sleepy Jose caca en frente del Papa, which means Sleepy Joe pooped in front of the Pope. And you're not supposed to. And he would have done that in front of the Crown Prince, too. He would have done that. But we didn't do it. We got $1 trillion. We got almost double. We almost doubled. And we'll see. Maybe we'll get a little bit more. It's called the art of the deal. I did a tremendous job, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. You're obviously making lots of deals. Now, Michael over in D.C. says he's going to go take a look at the big, beautiful ballroom, the construction going on over there. Obviously, you had a state dinner last night. Would have been better in a ballroom, right? Am I right about that?
Totally right. And that's why we're having the ballroom. It's going to be called King Donald's Royal Court. And our jesters are going to be Crying Chuck Schumer and Teeny. We call him. We said on Columbus Day, because they get along well with indigenous people. Hakeem Jeffries, we call him Tiny Teepee, right? He has a very small teepee. I have a huge teepee. He has a very small teepee, and we call him Chief Tiny Teepee, right? You look at Hakeem, but we're going to have him and Chuck Schumer as the jesters in the royal court of King Donald, the strongest and greatest. That's what it is.
Wow. Listen, Mr. President, I know you are very busy and you have many places to go. I believe that the helicopter is awaiting you out there, so I will end it there. But I want to tell you how very grateful I am that you stopped by the studio today. Thank you for that.
God bless you. Tremendous people.
When we come back, we are going to bring back in Michael Patrick Leahy in D.C., and we're going to talk to the great Sean Farash, the alternate personality sitting across from me in studio. Thank you for listening to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. I am EJ Host, and you will join us back after the break. Thanks.
Big John.
Hi, folks. John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just 1 scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
I didn't risk my life for this country just to watch career politicians wreck it.
Matt Van Epps, 9 combat tours. True American hero.
Now, I'm on a new mission to bring down prices, create good-paying jobs, and lower healthcare costs for working families. I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message to fight for America, because that's what I've done my whole life.
Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are in the home stretch here on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. I am EJ Host, filling in the seat in studio, but kind of tag teaming with Michael Patrick Leahy out in Washington, D.C. Also in studio is the great Sean Farash. I contend he is the best Trump impersonator, I think, in America, probably the world.
Nobody does a better job. They all say that. Nobody does a better job.
Yeah, definitely not. Nobody. He's got the cadence, he's got the voice, all of that. So we've got kind of a wonky setup today. We've got a couple of us in studio. We have been informed by the great Patrick, our producer here, that I should not look at our guests directly because it messes up the cameras. And that's really hard when your guest is basically the president of the United States. That's a very difficult thing to do. Michael, thanks for joining us. You had a question for Sean. Sean, Let me give you a minute, though, to introduce yourself. You're obviously very involved in politics. You're here in Middle Tennessee now, but you come from New York. If I got that right?
You do have that right. And when everybody asks me what brought you to Tennessee, my answer is New York. And then they get what I mean, and they understand that that I'm not one of the reasons why New York became the way it did. So, there's always that temporary moment of where, it was another one of them damn Yankees, right? And I'm like, yes, fine, I'll take the label. But I'm not going to, I don't vote like them. So we're good. And they're like, okay, that's fine. Welcome to Tennessee. It's always nice.
Similar story. I say I'm a political refugee from Minnesota Stan and lived there for quite a while, under the reign of Tim Walz as governor. I had to deal with the crazy Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul politics, all of that kind of stuff. So, that's kind of the first question when you move to Tennessee. The free state of Tennessee is people they're kind of, all right,
they're like this.
Yeah. So
you ever see a dog thinking about something?
Yeah.
That's how people look at me when I say I'm from New York. They're
exactly.
like, uh-oh.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out, can we be friends or no? So on that note, because you do have such extensive background with New York and New York politics, Michael, you had a question about the governor race there?
Yes, I want to ask Sean about the bucktooth Botox bandit
geez.
from Buffalo.
Yes.
The governor
of
Kathy Hochul. Now, she's just made mistake after mistake. Elise Stefanik from Saratoga Springs, where my sister was born in upstate New York, is as announced for the Republican nomination. She will likely win that nomination. We've got a tale of two polls. A poll conducted by the Conservative Manhattan Institute, October 22nd to October 26th, shows Stefanik with a 1-point lead over Hochul, 43% to 42%. And now the Siena poll, Siena University, which is a Catholic school just north of Albany, a poll taken November 10th to November 12th, shows Hochul with a 20-point lead over Stefanik, 52-32. What do you make of that?
Yeah, okay.
Sean?
So the Siena poll is funny because in one of the splits, right, among independents, Elise Stefanik is within 4 points. How is that a 20-point race? Okay, I don't know what Siena did and how they got that result when independents only break. Independents in New York. So independents in New York are generally left. They lean left. They're not hard left. That's why they're independent. But when independents break to the Democrat incumbent candidate by 4, there's no chance at all that race is a 20-point race. So that's something you can look at that poll and say, look, one of these two can't be true. Either it's a close race, as the independents indicate, or it's a blowout. And then you go to all the other polling that's been done in that race. Hochul's got a shot. Stefanik's got a shot. She's in striking distance. A 1-point lead, I don't know. That might be a little generous right now, but I would say it's probably close. I mean, she's at least within the Zeldin margin, I would say, and she's caught between a rock and a hard place, right? A week ago, after Mamdani's election, she said, no, we're not doing the free buses. And then she came out a couple of days ago, it came out that she's weighing an increase of the corporate tax rate in the entire state of New York from 7.25% to 11.5%, which would match the highest statewide corporate tax rate in the country, right? So she's like, well, we're not going to do free buses, but we got to raise your taxes to pay for free buses. So she's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If she doesn't, Mamdani's base revolts, right? And Mamdani's base stays home in November, a portion of that. And if she bleeds out support in the city, it's going to hurt her all across the state. If she does, it's still going to hurt her all across the state because now there are people who didn't get a vote in New York City, never would have voted for Mamdani if they lived in New York City, but have to pay for them across the state. They're going to be mad because she's trying to raise their taxes, these business owners. So I'll tell you what, this I think is the winning ticket in New York. So you have Stefanik. I think if she chooses her lieutenant governor, Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, who made one of his first campaign speeches in the bed of my pickup truck, great guy. If they do an upstate Long Island tag team, I think they take that general election in 2026, and the bucktooth Botox bandit of Buffalo becomes a thing of the past. But the nickname lives on.
Here's hoping. I love the nickname, but EJ and Sean, let me throw out a less rosy scenario. The Siena poll from August 4th, August 7th showed Hochul with a 14-point lead, 45-31. The most recent one shows her with a 20-point lead. Now, the Siena poll has been fairly reliable. I mean, they focus on New York State. It does lean left, as all of New York does, but I wonder, and I'd like to get your reaction to this, Sean. Is it the case that so many sane conservatives have left New York State that the only people left there are a bunch of left-wing lunatics.
I don't think so, because the state voted more in favor of Trump in 24 than they did in 20. So it has moved. It has continued to move to the right. Now, a bunch of them have left. That is absolutely true. But having dealt with the Siena polling in the past and how off they've been far out of these elections, when you dive into the splits of this new one that says it's a 20-point race but only a 4-point race with independents, I have a hard time believing they got the sample right. Or they.
How did the Siena poll do in the Lee Zeldin Kathy Hochul race, where Lee lost by 5 points?
It was about a 6-point race, and I don't believe Siena was very accurate with that. Quinnipiac did pretty well with that race.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Yeah, that is a surprise.
Quinnipiac did well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you got to take this with a grain of salt, and we have a long ways to go. But there is a movement here among the younger people in New York City. 75% of them under the age of 30 voted for the Muslim Marxists from Manhattan. We're working on the alliterations again.
Yes.
Goran Mamdani. Your thoughts on that?
I have a question real quick. So, yes, as far as women are concerned, college age, whatever, we do have some ground we're making up on the male side of things for under 35. So I think that's good. But here's what happens every time. So keep that Mamdani question in your head, Sean, but also consider that what always happens in states like New York, Minnesota, Wisconsin, California, Massachusetts, what they do, especially because this is going to be midterm election time, right? They shift everything from financial talk, logic, numbers, people, their own pocketbooks, everything into the big time social issues. And I think Elise Stefanik is going to have a really hard time with the abortion on demand people, because it will be ad after ad after ad after ad talking about women's rights.
Yeah, I think you're right, Michael. To answer your question about Siena in 2022, their final polling was about 3 weeks prior to the race, and they had Hochul plus 11. So that
off
was,
by 5.
Yeah, off by 5, and obviously outside of their margin of error. So so they missed, and that was way back. They've done polling in New York in 2022. They had 3 separate polls. It was a 14-point advantage in August. It was a 23-point advantage in September. Now, obviously this last one has a 20-point race. So again, the splits don't make sense. But I think the problem with, you look at Mamdani, and actually I've seen some stories about Mamdani, people moving to New York City to go live under socialism because he's promised a utopia. So if liberals want to do that and leave Tennessee, I'm fine with that too. Hochul's going to have a hard time balancing that, having a hard time balancing what Mamdani wants versus what independents and residents outside of New York City wants. And I think Stefanik's going to go on the attack there.
I tend to agree. And I think you're right about, Michael, lots of people fleeing, certainly businesses fleeing. They're going to find that the new financial hub of America is fast becoming Mar-a-Lago and Palm Beach area. It is not New York as much as it has been in the past. So that's going to be very, very interesting. So we've got a couple of things coming up after the break here. I want to get your take, Sean, on Kamala Harris being in Nashville yesterday, obviously campaigning for the 7th Congressional District. There's some weird nuances there. Justin Jones made a cameo. Like, there's some really weird things going on. So I want to get your take on that. We'll have a clip after the break. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Everyone, EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me. Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
I'm Matt Van Epps, and I approve this message.
Meet woke liberal Afton Bain.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Afton Bain, so woke she thinks it's a win to harass police.
This is great. We've got our girl squad, and we're bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. So this is a win.
Woke liberal Afton Bain. When she wins, we lose.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Rocking and rolling through this Wednesday morning here in Middle Tennessee. Wednesday, November 19th, 2025. In studio with me here, I am EJ Host. You are Sean Farash. Thank you for joining us. And then way out in Washington, D.C. is your typical host, your regular guy for this time slot, which is Michael Patrick Leahy, the great radio savant, Michael Patrick Leahy. We're going to tag team here and ask Sean a few questions because right here in Middle Tennessee, we got a visit from the former Vice President, Kamala Harris. She's on a book tour. Okay, so it's important to mention that I don't think this was a planned campaign stop because she just loves Afton Bain so much. I bet you she doesn't even know who she is. Up on the Tennessee Star, some great reporting basically saying former Vice President Kamala Harris on Tuesday stopped short of endorsing State Representative Afton Bain, Democrat out of Nashville, during a surprise campaign event for the Democrat who seeks to flip Tennessee's 7th congressional district on December 2nd in a special election after the retirement of Congressman Mark Green. It was an interesting stop, interesting campaign stop. Obviously, she's here to sell books, but somebody convinced Kamala Harris that she also needed to get involved in this 7th congressional district race special election. So I have a clip here. I'm going to play for both of you gentlemen, and we will get your take on that. Clip 1, please.
Don't let anyone ever take your power or your voice from you. You tell people what you want. You don't let anybody tell you who you are. You tell them who you are. And that includes at election time. This election is 14 days from today. Today's Tuesday. It's 2 weeks from now. And you know, I've been in elected office long enough to know that when people start deciding who am I going to listen to, and I'm going to speak truth right here. This is real talk. They're going to look at 2 groups of people. Who's writing the checks and who's voting. So let's make sure that they understand we vote. And they need to come here. And they need to listen. And they need to interact. And they need to understand. And one of the ways that you demand that is you show, because, you know what, I vote. And if you don't respond to my needs, I'm not voting for you.
Interesting.
With the leadership.
Interesting.
Aye.
Standing behind her, you've got State Rep Justin Jones donning a new coif. I wonder if that's Michelle Obama approved. But what's your take on the stop here, Sean?
I'm digging the accent, right? Kamala broke out her, because of course Justin Jones is standing behind her, so she has to, start doing the whole
Southern urban thing,
right? The Southern urban. That's a great way to put it, right? She did this conveniently, the same Southern urban accent at an HSBC event, so or no, HSBC, no HBCU. Esty calls it the HSBC as the Kamala impersonator. She calls it all my brothers and sisters from the HSBC. That's the banks, right, or the FDIC, whatever it is. No, the HBCU when she was at that's the Joy Cometh in the Morning. Remember when she started preaching? And there was a couple of other things that she said, my brothers and sisters. I was like, oh, okay. So she was kind of doing the same thing there. Obviously, what do they call it? Code switching. She's the Kamala chameleon or something, right? I mean, she changes with every crowd she's with. What does it mean for TN7? Is she inspiring people to vote? She didn't when she ran for president. That doesn't mean, take your foot off the gas. But, if you're out there in Tennessee 7, obviously get out there, vote December 2nd. Early voting's already started, you said, right?
Yeah, early voting's already started. And, of course, it stops a few days prior to Election Day on December 2nd.
Get out and vote now.
Yeah, just do it.
Just get out and vote now. Because you got the holidays coming. Just vote now. Who wants to deal with it thinking about it on thing? You're going to forget. You're going to be eating so much turkey, you're going to have the tryptophan, you're going to forget. Just go vote now. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Get it over with before the holidays. It's a great idea.
I agree with that.
If I lived in Tennessee 7, I'd vote today.
Yeah, I do live in Tennessee 7, and I don't know if this had any impact whatsoever. Michael, what's your take? Do you think Kamala actually makes a difference here, or do you agree with me that maybe Jasmine Crockett would have a stronger pull on, internal urban Davidson County?
Well, first, let me agree with both you and Sean. The election date is Tuesday, December 2nd, less than 2 weeks from now. Go out and vote for the Republican candidate there, Matt Van Epps. Very important. You cannot take this one for granted. The Democrats are going to try to steal this one, but it's a little weird. This was a rally for Afton Bain, was it? Where's the picture of Afton Bain with Kamala Harris?
There isn't one.
There is not one, because 5 minutes before Kamala Harris arrived, Afton Bain suddenly remembered she had another appointment.
Right.
What?
Yeah, she walks away from the former vice president of the United States. I heard, so a little birdie told me, what was really funny is Justin Jones was basically escorting Kamala Harris around for the day, and they did this little
He has to feel important.
Right? He's all googly-eyed at her. There's a selfie video kind of thing they took in the car, and, he's snuggled up to her as if there's not enough room in the back seat of this car. He's, shoulder to shoulder with her. And but a little birdie told me that Justin Jones and Afton Bain don't get along. And so I have
They did, according to another little birdie, they got along pretty well for a while, and not so well now.
Yeah, had some sort of a falling out. I'm sorry, I don't have, the rumor mill on that one. But it does make sense that, Kamala Harris was here, which she thought was going to be a book tour. Her handlers were like, no, you got to go do this thing with Justin Jones real quick and go to this rally or whatever. And then Afton Bain leaves and doesn't even get the endorsement. And if you really listen to the video, I'm yet to find one where Kamala Harris is with the megaphone out there on stage, yelling at a crowd they won't show us in the pictures because it probably wasn't that big.
No, it didn't sound big.
Supposedly a couple hundred, but I mean, let's be clear about what this is about. This is about Justin Jones with his new hairdo.
Sure.
I don't know Off. That's a long bunch of hair that he's got these days.
And it's straight. Michelle Obama would have a big problem with that, I think, because he's not being his authentic self.
Well, I don't know. Hard to tell Kamala and Justin apart there for a bit.
I don't know who that's good or bad for either, by the way.
Yeah.
Look, what really went on there, this is basically some internal rivalries playing out in TN7. And, there is energy from the left in Nashville and indivisibles working, getting out the vote. This does not augur well, shall we say, for the cohesiveness of the left turnout in TN7. Having said that, if you're listening to this program and you want a constitutional Republican in the seat, you need to go and vote today for Matt Van Epps.
Today.
I agree. And listen, this is not a slam dunk. This has traditionally been a very solid Republican held district. However, we've got a couple of weird things going on. First of all, it's December 2nd. That's weird in and of itself. Right? You're right, Sean. We've got the holidays. We've got, kids being out for Thanksgiving. You've got all kinds of things. There'll be people traveling. And just kind of forget. I mean, there's a lot of noise right now from retailers and ads and things like that. That takes up a lot of dominance on the airwaves where you would ordinarily kind of hear the ads reminding you that there's a special election. And then you also have the issue with an independent with his hat in the ring now, whose name I won't even mention because I think he might be a plant. He hasn't voted in some 24 years or something like that. And now he's coming out trying to say that he's a Trump conservative.
Oh, geez.
And so he's going to try and split the vote.
He's definitely got the earmarks of a plant.
He's a plant.
Right?
Yeah. It's the old libertarian ploy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him other than he doesn't vote regularly. And he's late to the game and didn't go through the whole grueling, horrible process of the primary. And that completely discounts him for me. But it more importantly, does that mess with traditionally Republican voters or people who even forget traditionally Republican? How about the people who would hold their nose and vote for Van Epps even if they didn't love him because they supported somebody else in the primary? Are they now like, yeah, stick it to that guy. We get what we deserve. Those are the kinds of things that weigh on my heart that I say, we got to win this one in TN7. I think there's way too much on the line with our slim majority in the House. Michael, you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. I mean, I would say never take any election for granted. And early voting is one of those things that we embraced en masse in 2024. And it worked. And it's one of those, from a strategy standpoint, when you have these campaigns that are getting all these real-time voter data, I don't want them thinking for a second that I may not vote, right? So I'm going to show them as early as possible. I already took care of it. Don't even bother me. Not that I don't want to get the calls. They're annoying, but I understand they're doing their job. Right? Don't worry about calling me. Don't worry about texting me. Don't worry about emailing me. Email somebody else. I voted already. And that's Laura Trump explained that last year after the election, that all this early voting, it allowed the campaigns to aggressively pursue low prop voters. And there's going to be a lot of them when you think about, a December 2nd election. You think of it, look, you want to say, I only vote on election day. Today's election day, okay? You walk into a polling place and there's a way you can cast a ballot. Today's election day. I don't like, election season. I don't like machines. I want it all to be paper. I want voter ID in all 50 states. Right now, we don't have that. So what we have to do is put as many points on the board in as many phases of the game as possible. Today is election day. Go vote, okay? If there's a poll open and a Republican on the ballot and a seat up in the House of Representatives and it's being talked about like it could be competitive, then today is election day. Go vote, then go enjoy your holiday, and then on December 2nd, you can watch and hopefully the candidate that you voted for wins.
Yeah, great way to put it, Sean. Thank you for that. I mean, people don't realize, too, that so much of this, thanks to technology, is real-time data that you're getting back. It's a money saver for the campaign also. So, you don't want to get any more mailers. A lot of them are probably scheduled out by now. But if you vote early on, then maybe you won't get as many of those mailers because they know that you've already voted and they can save their money and send it to somebody who hasn't yet voted. Same with the phone calls, same with the emails, same with all of it. And so, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Nobody likes, on our side anyway, 3 weeks of voting, but it is a tool that we have to learn how to use because while it's here, we got to use it. Now, keep the House now, keep it in the midterms, and then maybe we can start passing some things like voter reform and such. But for right now, for this December 2nd election, it's pretty important that we follow the plan that is already there and play in that sandbox. All right, so when we come back, we've got Sean Farash, a couple more topics before the end of the hour. You are listening to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. I'm EJ Host.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's HealthyCell.com. Code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Here we go with the last segment of the show, everybody. This is the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. I am EJ Haas, tag teaming with Michael Patrick Leahy, who is in Washington, D.C. today. And I would be remiss if I didn't say congratulations one more time on the nominations for some really prestigious awards. Young America Foundation, right, is giving out the awards in journalism.
At 6 p.m.
Yes. Yep. And I would like a picture. If a picture doesn't happen, it didn't actually take place. I want to see a picture of you dressed up in black tie attire.
I have a black tie. It is not a bow tie, but I will wear a black tie.
Yeah.
And I think I have a volunteer Tennessee Star orange pocket kerchief or whatever you call it.
Oh, there he is.
I like that. All right. Very good. Representing SEC down here, right? Yeah. So good luck tonight and have a great time. Make sure you take lots of pictures. And, I'm excited to see what happens tonight, but come home with or without the award, I think it's still just really, really incredible to be nominated and to be recognized for really excellent reporting. So congrats on that. In studio is Sean Farash, who is an escapee of New York, now in Middle Tennessee. Like I said before, just the best Trump impersonator ever, which is how he got his probably, I would say claim to fame, so to speak. But I think that discounts his brain. He's actually very, very intelligent in addition to being a great impersonator and is very well informed on all things politics. Coming from New York, I have a clip we're going to play for you here. This Mamdani thing has a lot of people freaked out, and I'd love your take on it being from New York. Let's hear it.
It's been 2 weeks since we won the election. We've been pretty busy.
Rejects the Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani.
Too often, this is a time of just celebration as opposed to preparation. We want to make it both.
A lot of these things are new, but one of them is pretty old, fundraising. But why are we fundraising? Well, we have less than 50 days until we take office, and we have a lot to do. We have to vet the 50,000 resumes we've received. Thank you. We have to keep paying our incredible team. Thank you. And we have to plan not just our inauguration, but our policy implementation. Now, unlike the campaign, transitions do not get public matching funds from the city. So that 8-to-1 match, gone. It's up to us to raise the money. Usually campaigns take that as an opportunity to rely on wealthy donors, but that's not us. You've already been incredible. We've raised more than $1 million in just 2 weeks. Our average donation is around $77, and more than 12,000 of you have donated so far, which is much lower than the last administration's transition. But we're still asking for your help because we need to raise $4 million in total. So January 1st can be the day we start to deliver, not start to prepare.
Okay. I can't take it. The guy who wants to give all of his constituents everything for free is surprised that they're not giving him donations for his transition team. Make this make sense to me.
So you're going to give him money, you're going to give his campaign money, then he's going to tax you, you're going to give the city money, and you're going to get nothing. Nothing but a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire right up a place you don't want it to go. That's all you're going to get in New York City. I can't believe this. The nerve on this guy. The nerve. You know what? Oh my goodness. You're going to take everyone's money to begin. So you want more? I guess he's just seeing what he can get away with. I can't believe they voted for this guy.
Yeah.
But I can. A pair of sweaty gym socks, which probably has a higher intelligence quotient than Zohran Mamdani, would win a New York City mayoral election if it ran as a Democrat. A pair of sweaty gym socks. I'm telling you.
I think you might be correct about that. I have said several times on this program that what wins elections with low IQ voters, remember the great Rush Limbaugh used to talk about low IQ, and I swear it's like teeth and hair. If you have nice teeth and nice hair, particularly if you're a young man, people will just vote for you. Like it's the most bizarre thing. Bizarre. Yeah. But it happens over and over and over again. So yeah, I think the guy's got nice teeth and I think he has nice hair. And that's all I can say that's nice about him.
That's it. That's all I can say about him. And I'll tell you, it's really a shame. Because when you have these conversations and you ask them, oh, how are the buses going to be free? Well, it's going to be paid for by the city. Yeah, and how does the city get money? through taxes. Yeah, and who pays those, right? You know, like, so you're paying for it, right? And they're like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Oh, you didn't? Well,
Yeah.
by the way, you think your taxes are high in the city now, right? Obviously not high enough because you can't have a free bus, which means you're going to have to go higher, which means you're going to have to pay more. So you're actually going to be paying more than you currently pay to ride the freaking bus because you think it's going to be for free. Dumb. Just
so dumb. And they have a subway system, for Pete's sake, and people walk a whole heck of a lot. And now, though, you're getting all kinds of fines, right? If you drive your own vehicle into the city.
Congestion pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because Kathy
it's
Hochul doesn't
criminal.
drive. That's because Kathy Hochul doesn't drive in the city. She flies
That's
to
right.
work on a broomstick.
That is a valid point. Valid point. Michael, what's your take on this thing?
Kathy Hochul on a broomstick. I think that describes New York State perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the fact that he's so unaware of how transitions work and like wasn't prepared for it. Do you know that on election night, there were people posting all over social media ticked off because he was there. The event was charging like $13 for a beer. Like the people who went to the
Is it a football
event.
game?
Free bus rides,
But the
but
people who
13 bucks
went
for
to
a
the
beer.
event, who had to pay to be there, like we're talking about donors and things like that, volunteers or whatever. So they had to do something to get there. They were surprised that they had to pay for drinks when they got there.
Yeah.
Like, why is that surprising? Of course you do.
It's free stuff, except
Nothing.
you have to pay for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
It always comes back to being paid for by you. In the end, everybody. And the fact that so many people just don't know that is mind-blowing. They're about to get a real lesson. I mean, a real lesson into what it costs to run a socialist government in New York City.
Yeah, and they fall for the free stuff thing all the time. It's very simple, right? I mean, when it used to be illegal to sell like sports tickets on eBay,
Yeah.
people used to sell the pen. They would say, if you buy this pen for $1,000, you get free tickets to the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
That's what they're doing. So you're not buying the ticket, but the ticket's not free. You're not actually buying the pen.
Exactly.
So if you pay me more in taxes, you get free bus. No, you don't, because it's not free. You're still paying for it.
Yeah. Well, you know, logic, numbers, all that. Lost on the left for sure.
That's for
They're
sure.
losing their minds. Mr. Sean Frosch, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Michael Patrick Leahy will be back. Well, he's traveling tomorrow, right? We've got Pappert that'll be also.
Tom Pappert will be guest hosting. And by the way, EJ,
Yeah.
what a great job you've done.
Tremendous
as a host.
job.
Thank you.
Fantastic
Thank
job.
you. Everybody, tune in again tomorrow. We're so glad you were here on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent a career, my entire career, in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
Flatfeenashville.com, flatfeenashville.com.